Hi guys, your girl Jellisa. I'm back and ready to record. Today is going to be a very emotional video because this is something this is my first testimony video, and also this is very personal for me because this is documenting and testifying and also telling you guys about my testimony about how the Lord was leading me to get custody of my two younger brothers, brother J and brother D. My dad has 8 kids, and their mother is they're half black and half Italian. So their mother is Italian, my dad is black. And so my dad calls me on a Thursday and says, Jellisa, I need help, and I'm going into rehab tomorrow. I'm on the phone and I said to him, what do you mean? Keep in mind, you guys, I have this brilliant schedule. As you know, getting that perfect schedule for you, and I was a full-time student. I had my math class, a very high-end course. I was taking an early childhood class at night. I was taking a cello class on the weekend, and also a Saturday, what other class? Art history. So it was a heavy load. Math is saying enough math. It was a very high-paced math. Oh my goodness. It was like 2-in-1 math where you can just do versus 2 semesters into one. Oh, just imagine that, you guys. It was a schedule for me, so, and working at the same time. So let's get into the story. So I said to my dad, what is your plan? He's like, okay, no one's calling me, no one's ready to help me. And I said to them, where's their mother? Oh, she's not gonna help. She hasn't been here for 6 months. I'm like, why do I have to help you? Because I love my family, but you're not thinking of this. The semester's just getting going, and the Lord revealed to me and said that I get off the phone. I said to him, the Lord said to me, you cannot leave because your family needs you. The reason why the Lord said that to me is because my whole life I want to say my goal, the Lord's leading me to go to Arizona, and I wanted to go. The first time I didn't go, and I was rooting on going for myself, And I said to the Lord, okay, Lord, I only will do this if you will allow me to pass my math course and allow me to talk to my friend. The reason why my friend was really significant in this story because it's like I was praying about him, and also the Lord allowed me to talk to him the next day. And I'll get back into that story again. So I called my father. I told him that, okay, make sure you get your custody papers in order just in case the mother comes out of nowhere. And so I'm well taken care of, and go put your key in the mailbox, and we'll figure this out tomorrow to go up to probate court. And so, okay, the next day goes around. Me and my dad, first thing we go to the probate court to tell them they wasn't helpful, and I told them that what steps. And then we go to school and tell them, okay, this is my daughter Jellisa. I'm going to rehab, and then she's gonna get custody for them. And I said, okay. They wrote my number down. We updated everything. Because the mother hasn't been showing her face for a while, and they gave them the custody paper. DCF has been involved, blah blah blah. I think this is what they told him he had to do to keep his kids. So I'm like, it's like okay. So I'm like, whatever. And then I go on the bus. My dad packs himself. He puts the key in the thing. The people come pick him up. I go to my job. Before I go, the Lord's nudging my spirit. So I go to the computer lab. I log into my Yahoo. My friend is there. I was like, his username is there. It's yellow. It means he's active. I was so nervous about it, and I said hello. Me and him dated way back in the day, and I was just trying to say hello to him and just rekindle. We exchanged numbers, and we became friends on Facebook, and we called it a day, which is really, really nice, just to see an old childhood friend through this stressful time. And I was late for work. Keep in mind, the computer lab, and I worked in my school. Computer lab's on the 2nd floor, and my job's on the 1st floor. Best 4 minutes of my life. Best 4 minutes of my life being late. And my people were like, I still put regular time. It is what it is. And they're like, oh, welcome. We needed you here. So I put my phone in my backpack when I was supposed to have a phone out. And now the Lord was nudging me, and I had a feeling to check my phone that same day. And so I checked my phone. It was 5 missed calls, and I go check calls. I said I use the bathroom. The school was calling me, blowing up my phone. I'm checking the messages, and I still remember these words. The secretary of the school saying, "Miss Hall, if you do not get down here, the mother is trying to take the kids out of state." And the second one, Miss Hall, we've been trying to call you. The cops are here. If you don't get here less than 20 minutes, 15 minutes, we're going to let her go. Let the kids go with the mother. I was distraught. I said, okay, I had to put my thinking cap on. And I said, I'm not going to make it to the bus. I called my friend Preston. I said, Preston, I was telling him about this, what was going on. I said, Preston, you have to help me. And thank God he was in the neighborhood. He said, I'll be there in a few minutes. And then so we go up there to the school. Keep in mind, the same day the school just, thank God I was ahead of the game. That's your girl, always thinking ahead of the step of the game. Even if it fails, you still have to show your face. So the mother, I never met the mother before, and you're probably wondering why. A recap: this happened before, and before I met my brothers came in my life when I was 20 years old, my senior year. My dad never knew about my brothers, about being their father. The mother just knocked on the door and just left them there. My dad saying to me he needs help. Way back in the day, the first time this happened, I vowed I never took custody of them. My elder brother took custody of them, and that's the funny thing. Another brother just came into our life. So that year I found out I had 3 brothers. So the same year the younger brother got custody of the 2 younger brothers. Hot mess. Anyway, going back. So back to the school drama. So the cops are surrounding the mother and her mother. The mother never seen me before. So I walked in. My friend was like, what are you going to do? I said, she never seen me before. But I knew what she looked like, but I never saw her before. She never saw me. So, because only through pictures. So I walked in there, I rang the doorbell, and he left, and they said, oh, thank you. The cops were just, and they were like, this is sister. I had my dad's document, because my dad just gave me a vanilla notebook. He gave him a copy of the DCF custody thing. I explained the situation. I explained my dad went to rehab. We went to the probate court. And even though they weren't helpful, they're knowledgeable. The fact is that what I said, predicted, happened. I said this happened before. She just drops them off. She comes to pick them up, and we're not doing it this year. I said this happened twice, and the school was like, okay, because the dad came in before, and because of my guidance, my dad wasn't thinking, because he thought it would just, here you go. Because the mother was like, oh, she's like, I don't understand why I can't get my kids when I enroll them in the school. You can't just abandon your kids and just try to get them up and try to get them out of school. So, okay, let's back up a little bit. I said, the boys are crying, they're distraught, and I said, okay, can you put them in a different room? Before then, I'm checking their backpacks. I said, why is the kids have their school clothes on? They have all their clothes in their backpacks. And I said to them, can we just put them in a different room because there's too much going on? And so they put him in a different room, and the cops explained that to the mother she had to leave because I had the right documentation of the father's care, and the dad gave me permission because, as they know it, the mother doesn't have custody of them. And so the mother left, and I told my friend to go around the back, and that's when we get in the back, and I could see the mother. The kids don't see the mother, but I could see her crying. I felt bad, but I don't really care about feelings right now, because if they got their stuff together, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. Okay, so then I go back to probate court, you guys, and they were like, sarcastically, I was waiting, I said, oh, I hear them in the background, here she is again. I said to them that we've been in this situation before, and I told you that the mother was going to show up, and you guys not here to help me. And then the judge was like, well, if the kids didn't want to go with them, If the kids didn't want to go, why they have a backpack full of clothes? I said, first of all, sir, these kids are minors and they're just being coached. The mother has not been anywhere for the last 6 to 8 months. So now they're going with me. It's Friday. After that, we do the kids are wondering, the kids are on the phone talking to their mother. And after that fact is, the Lord gives me, just take the phone off the line. I took the phone off the line, you guys. And she was interrupting. She was coaching the children, coaching them. And so now, how we get talking to my dad, and the kids talked to the mother for a while, but after a while, I cut that communication off. So let's talk about how this affected my studies, because not only do I have a full load of work, I have these 2 boys. I go to my dad's house. It's a mess. The kids are sleeping on box springs. The kids did not have clean clothes. The kids, it was a disarray. For the viewers out here wondering why because I don't visit my dad like that, and it's just where I'm thinking that they have beds. It was made, and then the boys are just sleeping on box springs. My dad has his own bed, and my mother and I went through my savings, you guys. I went through my car money. I went through all this. We had to go to Goodwill. We had to do all these things just to make sure they have. And I remember DCF came in that day, and I had to because they had nothing. So I had to put comforters up there, and I made the beds to make so they make sure they had a bed. They had to make sure they had running water. She saw all the beds. She did a little peek, but obviously they didn't have a box spring and a bed, and it wasn't my fault, not my doing, blah blah blah. So you guys, it's like going through the semester. My dad's in rehab. My mother will pick the boys up from the bus stop, because my mother worked downtown. She put them in a van. The boys know. I give them instructions, and I'll get on the Yale shuttle. That's a free shuttle that goes downtown, so that's how I got to work every day. I told them, I remember I was sleeping in my dad's bed, and I said to them that you will always have a mom. I told them since day one, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, because they know. They're smart boys. For 8 and 9 year olds, I gave it to them. I said to them that I'm your sister. You will always have a mom, and you always have a dad. And Big Sister's here to protect you, okay? So let's just get this done. As I told them, that there's going to be people who are here to talk to you. You're going to be going to therapy. You'll be having a sport. And my mom's going to come pick you up, okay? Because the mom still lived out of state, or she's trying to get herself situated. And I had to cut the lines, because the youngest one was anxiety. And so how I did with school. It was stressful. I was having anxiety. I couldn't even, the Lord was just telling me, open the book. I just could not open the book to study for my art history class. It was hard. I had a night class with my mother. My mother and I was going to school during that time. My younger sister was, our young teens we all got in the van. She had to take the boys from the school. They had to walk up to the library and have their free time. And she was stressed herself. And my older sister, I remember I was falling asleep. I had a take-home test, and I woke up, and it was done. And I was really grateful for my older sister. And it's not easy, you guys. Being a 23-year-old, getting closer to my chest. Ugh, I'm just feeling a little bit nervous to just even talk about this, you guys. It's just it's not easy. My stomach's jumping butterflies, because being a young 23-year-old, your whole life is ahead of you, and those are my brothers, and they first came in my life in 2012, my senior year of high school. My dad did this beforehand. My mother did this beforehand. That's the reason why I had to jump into action, because no one else was going to think about them. Just imagine if I didn't do it. They would have been abandoned somewhere, and then no one was there to get them, and I didn't even know what happened to them. 2012, the mother just abandoned them, dropped them off at my dad's house, and my dad's calling me for help, and I didn't want to do it. And so this time around, I vowed before God I was going to help them. So school was difficult. Going back to me being 23, 24-year-old Jellisa, going to court. Court day came. My dad was still in rehab. This is how the plan was. My dad had his phone on speaker with his lawyer. The kids had their lawyer, and the mom and her family there, and just me. And the judge looked me up and down. They said to me, well, you have your whole life ahead of you. Well, how would you feel giving them back? And I was kind of unsure. He said, well, you sound unsure. I said, I'm not giving them back to their mother until we get something in paperwork and writing, because if we don't do this, they're going to keep, the pattern's going to keep going. The cycle's going to keep going. I was just going to court. They were looking at me. First again, they were doing that bias thing about age. As you guys know, I look very young. For those people who don't know, I'm currently 26 years old. And they're like, oh, you're a college student. I said, first of all, I am a college student in order to hear the best interest of my brothers. And they said, oh, who are you getting custody? I'm getting custody of both parents. I want the rights to be terminated from both parents, because if they didn't get themselves together, we wouldn't be in this situation. You know, I respect both parents as adults, but their parenting skills need a little bit tweaking. And then they're like, I said, first of all, I was throwing all these early childhood scenarios, and they were just throwing all these words back. And I said, oh, the funny part, I just learned about that. And I was giving them the scenarios. Oh, it's like, don't judge a book by its cover, because they want the best interest of the children. Of course, they want them back in the parents. But at the same time, we wouldn't have been in this situation in the court if the parents got themselves together, you know? I'm not going to go into much about the mother's past. My dad is my dad. My dad suffers from alcoholism. My dad is drunk. The mother is all around bouncy, you know? So my main goal was to make sure my brothers were well taken care of. That they had a custody, and just in case that day I lost custody of them, they were going to... Of course, I didn't lose custody of them. They were still in my care, you know, but then it was further. We had to go further than probate court, mediation court. We had to go higher, and I was set back into it. So, they were still in my care. It was a long 2 months, and the funny thing, my math professor was my middle school professor. Oh, Miss Gudis. She gave me the biggest hug, and I told her about it, and I told my cello teacher about it. I had a lot of mentors. It was good to have people on your side. At work, it was hard because I remember my boss was telling me if I can't work her hours, she was going to find someone else. And knowing that she has children, and she wouldn't have done that to her children, she was going to fire him. And also their assistant was like, and she ignored her boss, was like, what hours can you work? Because my hours was all over the place. I remember God was telling me every Wednesday take off. She didn't like that I wanted to take Wednesday, and my mom was instructing me to go a step higher to go to her boss, and she didn't like that, so she put in writing that I wouldn't lose my job, especially as a student labor. The professors and people who got the degrees, blah blah blah, forgot how life is. It was hard, but my professors worked with me. My cello teacher worked for me. I had to take my brothers to school with me, and it wasn't easy, you guys. It was not easy, but God was pushing me through. So we talked about the school, and we talked about the custody. So when we got to the court, like the big court, the mother was sitting next to me, my dad was sitting next to me, and the judge looked at me. He looked at the paperwork, and he said this shouldn't even went to court. He said this shouldn't even went before him. And he asked the mother what she wanted. She said, I already know I was going to get what I want before. It's going to be a big pause. And she said that I want to have weekends, I want to have the holidays, and I want to be able to have summers with my children. I want them to stay with their boys. Before this, let's recap, because remember I was telling the probate court, and I was telling them what the best interest of the children. I said to them, and I just remembered, because the parents were all disputing. My dad was in rehab, and his counselor was talking, my dad was talking, blah blah blah. I said to them, I want the best interest of my brothers. I want it to be where both parents are stable and that we won't be in this situation again. I'm tired of the children going back and forth and it's not stable for them because they cannot rest. These kids need a schedule because they're being bounced around. They're having anxiety because they don't know which way to go. You know, they don't have a voice and allow me to speak for my brothers because I never once wanted to be their parents, and I'm only here for the best interest of them and allow me to speak for my brothers. And they were shocked. I remember that courtroom being quiet at probate court and back into the bigger court, and the judge and the mother was like, "Oh, I've been here before." Her second son, where her father, her firstborn child, and she wanted to, because he was old enough and he was able to choose what parent he wanted to go, but because the kids were minors, they don't know what they want. But of course, she said that because the kids want to go with their mother, all their kids love their mothers, and so, you know, no backlash against the mother. She just needed to get herself together. My dad needed to get themselves together, and the best interest for my brothers was I just wanted them to be in writing so we wouldn't be in this situation again. Because so we got there, we got the writing, and I still had one more month. And all the things the guy said to me, even though you're going to court, you still have custody of them. I said, oh, good, great. So my dad was out of rehab. My dad got out of rehab. My dad thought because I was his daughter that I was going to give his kids back. He's like, I need my kids back. I packed my cat. I left the cat living there. And I packed the boys' stuff that I brought with them. And I brought them back to my mom's house. Because that was a safe haven for me. And my dad was calling me and said, well, you going to come clean up this litter? I said, sure. So I was able to give his keys back. I made copies of the key. I left that and I cleaned up the cat litter up. And when me and my mother cleaned up the house, and they're at my house. They were sleeping on my floor. We was having a powwow. The boys were having fun because, as you know, my mom's house, we have lots of little kids here. They know everybody. It was fun, you know. I was taken to the park. I was at home. And one thing I learned about living at my dad's house, that showed me that how much I wanted to just be a good mom. I wanted to have my own space and just be a good mother. But they're my brothers, so they were still in my care. I had to cut the lines off of their mother, and also my father, because you don't want to interrupt that seclusion of the peace of the boys, and also my peace. They're not touching what's mine, what I put into it. It was hard because I know the best. I couldn't get them the best shoes, but on my income, they got new clothes. You know, it was good. So it was hard. I remember I had to give them back after 2 months, you guys. I had to give them back to their mama. It was hard. I had to give them back to my dad. It was hard. I packed up their clothes and they were so happy to see their mother. A little bit of my dad. And I cried and I said, we love you, Jellisa. I learned I got lots of snuggles in there. I enjoyed my time with them. And because they're so beautiful babies, they're curly hair. And the youngest one looks just like me as my baby. I love them very much, and I don't want to cry up here. And okay, that's when I finished. So, and we're gonna fast forward a little bit to update you about them. Like, as you know, it's 2018. My mother doesn't want me to have contact with them, so they're back with their mom. I guess my dad was saying that last year, the year before, that he was gonna fight for his kids, that he needed my help, and I told him I'm not doing it. At this point in time, the mother got herself together and the mom got herself a job, and at this point I'm rooting for the mother because it makes no sense. We have to go back to square one, and the mom doesn't want me to have contact with them to know what's going on, because I think kind of it went back to where it was because she knew that I was going to go back and do the whole process again, and damn right I was going to do it again. But I have confidence, and I was rooting for the mother this time because I know she got herself together, and I have respect for her now, and always had respect to her during the time because as women, we both. I think she had respect for me being young. She also in that courtroom, I never bashed her. I just wanted to be still because there's no kids who have to worry about where they're gonna lay their head at night, and it's not a good feeling to be going back and forth because parents can't get themselves together. And me being young, it doesn't matter. Age is just the age, and age is just a number because I was an adult. But anyway, like I said, they're back with their mother. I had to give them back. My dad still his nonsense, but I love my dad, and I check on him once in a while. So you guys, I'm going to leave it at this. Now it's turning 25 minutes, and thank you guys for listening me out because it's hard. And also, I did not pass that math class. I passed it the year before. That's another testimony. I did pass the semester with cello. That's a whole year. The history class, the art history. My mother and I passed it. I got myself a B class. And there's another class it was. I forgot. It was early childhood. I got another B there. And yeah, as you know, I graduated. You know, it was hard. So I'm going to take a deep breath. I love you guys very much. Like and subscribe. Thank you for hearing me out. Bye-bye.